Hey guys, welcome back to the shop for another Tool Tuesday. I have some new Techniks tools here that I wanted to go over and share with you because I'm getting ready to install these in the Flex CNC and give them a test run. And these tools came about, specifically this guy came about whenever I was having that issue with the rigid tapping cycle over on the Flex. That has since been corrected, as I showed in a previous video. The software engineers were able to get into the controller and make an adjustment that was needed to make the rigid tapping cycle work properly. And it is working really good now. But during that problem, I was talking to Aaron over at Flex, and he says that they've got a few of these tools that they run that works really well. So this holder right here is made by Techniks, and it is called their MicroFloat tapping holder, okay? So we have another adapter that goes in here that accepts an ER25 collet that will hold whatever size ER25 collet you need for tapping. So I do have some of these rigid tap collets right here from Techniks that will be used in these holders right here, and we'll show you how this actually works. But what this tool is going to allow is when the machine's coming down to do the tapping, if the threads or the lead is not quite perfectly in sync with the rotation of the spindle, this actually allows for a little bit of give, a little bit of float with the tap there, so that the tap will stay perfectly aligned with the threads that it has cut into the workpiece. And so I wanted to give one a try and wanted to give this a try to see if that's what was going to correct the problem. And after going through and getting these tools, we figured out that it was the software. But this is a good tool to have, and I look forward to using it. So we're going to give this a try. Now this is another tap holder made by Techniks. This is more of like your quick change style right here. So we have a couple of sleeves that go in here, but you'll have a sleeve that goes into this guy for whatever size tap that you're wanting to run. So that's these guys right here. So we'll just go ahead and pull one of these out. So this is for 1/2-inch taps. This is a sleeve right here. So you'll take your 1/2-inch tap like so, and just simply push it in there. This is just like the style that's on the Flex arm, only the tool holders for the Flex arm have a clutch built into them so that it doesn't break the tap whenever you bottom out the hole there. But the same concept, the same style holder, so it's got this flange in here that you push down on and then you can pull the tool out. There's some ball bearings in there that lock the shank of the tool in, and then you have a square that drives it on that back end there as well. And then this tool right here, you can simply just stick it in like so, line the keys up like that. So you just push that sleeve and it locks it in place, and now you have a tool made specifically for rigid tapping. And if you need to swap this tool out very quickly, all you need to do is just push up on that or pull the whole thing out. And if you have a different tap you want to use or replace it, simply stick it back in there and then touch your tool off on the tool setter and you're ready to go. So this is going to be a nice tool to keep from using up all of my ER collet chucks for tapping, and have a tool designated to hold taps there instead of using up the ER collets, because those are better suited for end mills or different size shank tools that we're trying to run in the machine and not use them up for all of the taps there. So there's that guy. But this one right here, the MicroFloat, which is sort of the main guy that we're trying to talk about here. So this is the ER25 adapter. It is a very precision fit on those threads right there. All right, so just like any other ER25 collet chuck made to the same specs, you'll put your collet in there, and then this will go inside this holder right there. And I've got this tool clamp over here so I can hold it. It's just easier to put it in that so I can show you how these guys work. So let's mount it over here, and we'll see what this looks like with the tap and everything installed. All right, so let's put this in our tool holder here. Clamp that. That makes it just nice and easy. All right, so we have our ER25 sleeve. Now there are 4 different ball bearings that lock into this guy right there, so it actually only fits one way. So we go to stick it in there and pull this sleeve out, and there it is, it's dropped in there, okay? So what this is now allows, you can see that movement right there. that's your amount of float that you have in the tool whenever you're doing your rigid tapping. So take the nut off. So this is one of our new collets. This is for a 5/8 tap, one of the Techniks brand ER25 tap collets. So these are designed, let's see, 5/8. So let me get my 5/8 tap out right here. We got some Cleveland brand cutters that we're going to be running. So you can see that it actually drives the square of the tap once you put it down into that tap collet right there. All right, so the collet will go into the, let's see, there we go, into the nut. Screw that on and then simply install the tap. There we go. Okay, there it is. Now it's got to make sure it's all the way in there if you want to drive on the square. Okay, and then of course we'll lock that in properly. We'll get that torqued like it should be. Now whenever you're tapping, like I said, see you've got that float right there. So it's supposed to work really well, help prolong the life of the taps, and of course give you perfect threads every time you come down to do a rigid tap cycle. So that's how that guy works right there. We'll go ahead and put this other tool in here so we can make sure that we show how that works good too. All right, so you got your adapter right there. You can simply stick that in there like so, locked in, and then take your cutter, line it up with the square, and there you go. All right, you can remove it like that. Or if you want to just keep this in the machine, you can simply push that flange in, pull your tap out. So it's a nice quick change system there, specifically to hold one of your taps. Okay, and we also have some other collets here under the recommendation of many of our viewers out there. So I bought a few of these sealed collets. These are also Techniks. I got them from KBC Tools. And I got a few different sizes. I went around to the tool carousel and I looked to see the different tools that I actually had mounted in there in the collet chucks, and I ordered a few based off the ones that I had in the machine there. So these collets right here, let's take a look at one. I believe it's the way that they're split is that it doesn't allow the coolant, when you're using through tool coolant, it doesn't allow the coolant to come all the way through the collet and out between right here. I believe it should all be directed, just because it's the splits don't go all the way through there. So it should stop about halfway down in the collet, allowing the coolant to go through down to this area and direct it all through here, down through the tool. All right, so got a few of these guys, and I'll order some more of these as I need, as I come up on the different sizes that I might need, but I do have several of the common size, you know, different size collets. I got 1/2 inch there, 5/8, 9/16, 7/16, and a 5/16 right there as well. All right, all from KBC Tools. So you guys can reach out to them if you have some need for some of these Techniks collets. They can hook you up with those guys right there, as well as the cutters. Have a lot of people ask me about good quality cutters. That's a really common question is, Adam, where should I buy or what brand should I get if I'm looking for some good quality cutters? And these aren't necessarily people that are commenting that put these in a machine. A lot of these guys are using this for hand work, maintenance work. They have them on their service truck, or they might be a millwright working at a plant. They got to have some good cutters for the work that they do. I can highly recommend going to Cleveland and buying the Cleveland brand, or the Chicago Latrobe, or even the Cle-Line brand. The Cle-Line is another one that made by Cleveland, all owned by Greenfield Industries, all made in the USA, all high quality tools. These are a couple that I got right here. So this is a Chicago Latrobe 1/2 inch shank. This is a 17/32 high-speed steel drill that we're going to be using in the flex. In addition to our Cleveland 5/8 11 tap right here, we have a job coming up. I have some 1¼ inch plate that have a bunch of tapped holes in it, and the amount of holes that I had, I just decided to go ahead and go with high-speed steel on our drill, because these cost much less than a solid carbide drill bit And this is going to work for, I think we have 32 holes to drill and tap using this drill and that tap, and I know this drill is going to work just fine for that. So another thing that you can get from KBC Tools if you're looking for some high quality cutters, get with them on the Chicago Latrobe, the Cleveland, and the Cleline brand there as well. All right, so what I'm going to do is go ahead and get these guys, get this locked in like we should, and I'm going to replace these with a couple that I already have in the flex. I'm going to get them touched off, and I want to go ahead and give this a test run. I got a test plate right here where we've already drilled and tapped a couple holes, and I'll just come over here. I'll probably rotate it and just go ahead and drill a couple more and test out our new drill and our new tap holder here for our 5/8, because this is going to be what's used on that new job coming up. All right, we're going to go ahead and get the tap torqued down into our collet there. I'm going to be going with the new Cleveland 5/8 spiral fluted tap. And then we'll use our Heimer torque master right here to torque it to the ER25 value on that dial. Just like that. Should be ready to go. We'll go install it in the machine, get it touched off. So this is the tool that I had in there. This is our 5/8 tap. So we're taking this out. This one's going to take its place. So this has also allowed me, as I had mentioned before, this is freeing up another collet chuck that I can use for things like end mills and other types of cutters, end mills and chamfer mills and things like that. And we'll have a couple of these tools dedicated to holding a couple of the taps. We're going to get our workpiece located using our Heimer 3D sensor. All right, we're going to go over to our work offset. That's going to be our X0 there. All right, that's going to be our Y0 there. Always try to be very careful backing this guy out. Do it nice and slow so I don't mess anything up. We're going to go Z up. Okay, so I'm going to use my drill bit to set our Z position there, and I'm using the Edge Technology tool setter, which is once you run that into a 0, that's exactly 4 inches, so you have to subtract 4 inches from your reading that you're taking there. Okay, there we go. Just come back into our work offset, and we're going to hit Z. Okay, and then we have that tool, which is tool 19. We got H19 activated, so it's asking me, do I want to subtract offset H19 from Z-axis work offset? Yes. There we go. Now all I got to do is just subtract 4 inches from that as well. Okay, we've got our Z position set now. I subtracted the 4 inches for the tool setter. Get that guy out of there. All right, we're set up and we're ready to go ahead and do this little test run. We're going to be drilling and tapping 2 holes, 5/8 I do have the coolant disabled for our spotting and our chamfering, but we're going to be running flood coolant for the drilling and the tapping cycles. That's my 3/8 diameter mill drill that I use for spotting and chamfering. I gotta hit cycle star here. Now we're gonna grab the 17/32 drill bit. And as I had mentioned before, we're gonna be running these, this is the Chicago Latrobe brand high-speed steel drill bit. Should work really well for this job. I do have a peck cycle going so it breaks the chip. On to the second hole now. All right, look good. So we're going to swap back to our 3/8 diameter mill drill. And we'll use that to chamfer these two holes. Chamfers look a little big. I done something wrong there, I'm not sure what. And now we'll grab the 5/8 11 tap. So this is going to be our first time using our the Techniks MicroFloat tool holder. All right, here we go. All right, everything looked and sounded good. Jump back over here to manual and we'll give those holes an inspection. Let me move you down. All right, upon visual inspection, our threads look beautiful through those two holes there. All right, so I got a go, no-go gauge right here. Here's our no-go side. So it's not going. Here's our go side. Fitting in there nicely. No go, and our go side. All right, so first use of our MicroFloat tap holder. That is going to give me an even more peace of mind knowing that our tapping cycle, our rigid tapping cycle, should work really good with the combination of having that floating tool on there. I shouldn't have any worry about our tap messing up the threads if the spindle rotation and the movement is off just slightly. And it's supposed to help prolong the life of the tap there as well. So I think that's going to be a good addition to the Flex here. I'm looking forward to using it on some upcoming jobs. And I was testing this one out. We've already proven out our 2-inch hole. I've already done that. We did a little test on this guy right here and tested the power tapping with the Flex arm, and I put that over on Instagram. but we do have a job coming up where I have a bunch of 5/8 holes to drill and tap, and then we have several of these 2-inch holes to drill and tap there as well. We're not going to be thread milling this. I know I'm going to have a lot of people say you should just thread mill that, but I need to learn how to do some thread milling, and I'm going to do it on practice pieces like this. But for now, we have a flex arm, we have a 2-inch tap, and we have 8 holes to do. So we're going to be using our tap to tap the big 2-inch holes there. So that's it. Enough with this test. I wanted to share those new tools with you. Our new Cleveland cutting tools are working beautifully, and we'll bring you guys back whenever we start on this big drilling and tapping job. I've got these vices here is going to be set up as one work location. This will be G54. I got to move these jaws around to match like that. So we'll have a big piece of steel in here. It's 4 foot long. And then I've got that area cleaned up right there where we're going to put our larger workpiece. That's where all the 5/8 holes will be drilled and tapped. The 2-inch holes will be bored right here in this work offset right there.